Okay, so before the video starts, I just want to give a thank you to everybody who watched my last video. I like really couldn't believe how it blew up. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who watched it, who shared it, who commented on it. It means a lot. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone who watched it. Okay, enough with this heavy stuff. Let's start the video. So Dune Part 2, being released just this month and is already in conversation of being not one but the best sci-fi film of all time. Now what idiots are already— embarrassing. Anyways, from outdoing nearly every film in the past 10 years with its visual flair, huge scale, impeccable world building, and incredible acting, this film is definitely going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. I think the only other films that can compete with it that have recently come out post-COVID would have to be Across the Spider-Verse and Oppenheimer, in terms of having huge cultural influences on modern cinema. But this— yeah, nah, this is something else. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't exactly love the first film, but I was still looking forward to a part 2. Basically, everything I loved about part 1 was pushed to the max in this one, and the things I didn't really like were completely cut out. World building and incredible visuals might be the most beautifully crafted film I've ever seen visually. Long runtime, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't pick up my phone a single time during this. 2 bald alien grown men locking lips? We got film of the year now.
What?
In all seriousness, I do think this film is nothing short of a masterpiece, and I can say with full confidence that this film, this franchise, will be talked about decades from now. So the big question is, how was this film made? Oh, yeah, that totally explains. Denis Villeneuve. Denis V is probably one of my favorite directors now after learning so much about his insane passion for film and visual storytelling. Like, every film he makes is just oozing with his original flair, and every one of his films become classics amongst the four-eyed nerds like myself. But this might be on a whole other level. So today we're going to be going over some things on how Denis made a staple in modern cinema and how you can do the same. So the first thing we're going to be talking about today is the importance of the price of admission, and how Denis takes insane advantage of this. So the definition of price of admission is, for those who don't know, is basically the cost that is required in order to gain access to a particular experience, opportunity, or social group. And in this case, the opportunity and social group is Dune 2, the experience of watching Paul slowly turn into the Messiah, the opportunity to drink the water of life and see how it changes the perspective on everything, and the chance to join and live with the Fremen. The cost of the ticket equals the chance to experience this on a big screen with immersive speakers that bring you out of your boring, lazy life and throws you into the sands and mountains of Arrakis, into the ships of the Harkonnens, where you're probably a little nervous for your first expedition. The things you experience in this movie are exclusive for only this movie. You want to see a dude ride a worm with the craziest soundtrack you've ever heard in your life, making you float out your seat like the rapture's happening? Dune 2 is the place for you. Oh, what's that? You want to see the craziest war ever with suckers breaking out of the sand, giving your grandpa them hardcore Vietnam flashbacks? Ain't gonna lie, Dune 2 might be the place for you, my friend. Wait. You want to see 2 bald aliens that happen to be in the same family kiss in Ultra HD 4K with surround sound speakers, and now the price of admission may not be something that you're thinking about while making a movie, but it's definitely something that's going to be on the audience's mind. Living now in America's crazy economy, suckers can't even buy a candy bar no more without getting freaking post-purchase clarity and rethinking all of your choices. So if film is something that you want to pursue, you definitely got to make sure what you're making is exclusive to you. If the theaters are charging $12 for a ticket, you better make sure that your movie isn't just remaking stuff that other movies have already done. You want to do better. You want to create something that's iconic with your own original flair. Dune 2 has plenty of scenes that not only feel brand new and fresh, but it also feels like you're literally watching a classic unfold before your own eyes. I get it. It's important that the movie doesn't just feel like a movie, it feels like an experience. Walking out of the theater after watching Dune 2 was like waking up from a dream where your crush finally confesses your feelings. You You know, it can never be me. I'm living that dream. You should walk out of the film wanting to go back, wanting more, and a lot of people did. Heck, I know I did. I'm trying to watch this John for the freaking third time right now, and I haven't rewatched a film in theaters in ages. Danny said he wanted to make something groundbreaking and new with the visual storytelling, and yeah, this is definitely like nothing I have ever seen before. Every single scene, you can feel the amount of love and effort that was put into it. Like, these people really cared about these characters, and for somebody who hasn't even read the books, I can only imagine how it feels for a fan of the book being able to see how Denny brought this to life. And the reason this is going to be so iconic is because it doesn't feel like anything else. This doesn't feel like Star Wars or Alien or any other kind of sci-fi movie. It feels like Dune. Right, so the next thing we're going to be discussing is the importance of building an atmosphere in your films. Building a world for the audience to immerse themselves in for a period of time that overall heightens the enjoyability of the film. This tied in with the price of admission is just perfection. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be completely honest, I think this franchise already has like some of the greatest world building I've ever seen in any film. The way that they introduce the different families and planets and the conflicts between them is just beautiful. It gives you a lot, but it also doesn't, so it leaves room for question and conversation. Even the immense attention to detail is incredible. The insane costume design from head to toe, the makeup, the sets, going back to shooting on actual locations instead of just throwing a freaking green screen behind it like I mentioned in one of my last videos. This is a product of passion and love from Denny, and it spreads to quite literally everybody in the entire cast. From Austin Butler. Wow, I don't even... From Austin Butler going through an insane transformation to play Fade Rotha, the same goes for Dave Bautista and Stellan Skarsgård, who not only spent an 8-hour workday just getting into the makeup, but also depriving himself of any restroom breaks while filming once he was in the makeup. This is the art of film, and it's truly beautiful to see an amazing cast be so dedicated to completing the director's vision perfectly. I love Timothy's performance and growth as Paul in this film, growing from a more timid and quiet character in the first film with a few sprinkles of what he is, to finally actually seeing him now tweaking after drinking the worm juice, demanding more power and to be followed, falling down a similar path of Anakin Skywalker and Eren Yeager. A lot of this transformation is huge prop to Dennis's power to tell stories visually. There's plenty of shots that provide all that you need to know until you get hit with the actual dialogue. But when you do, that dialogue is like a karate chop to the jugular. I mean, like, I had chills in certain scenes just listening to these crazy speeches that Timothy was giving. I mean, he got to the point where I had to agree with his cause. And as someone who hasn't read a single, like, syllable of the book, I had no idea what to expect from his character. But seeing him grow like this on screen was incredible. Seeing his hunger for power and his hunger for control slowly build once he got to this point where he's leading to an entire nation in this crazy war, you feel like you are there. The rest of the cast is also insanely impressive. This has to be one of the best lineups I've ever seen in any kind of movie. Everybody really plays together pretty perfectly. With this huge cast of amazing actors, there's not a single person who seems out of place or alienated. Every character interacted with each other perfectly and built upon each other incredibly. Usually with some films, there's like an imbalance with this, like the good side will usually have more favor with development and arcs, while the villains are just sort of there, but nah, everybody here got a piece of the cake. Everybody has a reason for being here. They're not just plugged in because why not? They're there when they need to be, because they need to be. One of my favorite actors, Anya Taylor-Joy, was in the movie for like a couple septiseconds, and she's a pretty big Hollywood name. Denny isn't just abusing these names to get more butts in the seats, but he's using these characters when they are needed. Austin Butler, for example, the whole reason I watched this film as early as I did was because I kept hearing incredible things about his character. And yeah, it takes him a while to come up on screen, but when he does, it just gets more crazy. He brings such an elevation to everything. and Paul brings an elevation to everything. And when they mix together and they're both just lifting the plot of the film when this war happens, and then we get to this crazy knife fight, and the movie is just like ape. Almost 3 hours of runtime utilized perfectly to tell an amazing story. I mean, the whole 3-hour runtime just feels like a 3-hour high. It's crazy. The amount of passion and heart put into the cinematography, the score, the writing, and the directing. It's just honestly overwhelming at some points. Like, you can't even just sit here and listen to two characters having a conversation without your brain melting out of your eyeball sockets because of the beauty of the cinematography and the landscapes and the scores. It starts from the second the opening credits start, and it doesn't stop until you get to that crazy final part. And that's when they turn it up, and it is just insane from that point on. Overall, what I can say is what I've said already. I mean, there's not really anything that I can say that nobody else has already said, because I honestly can't even like really put into words how much I adore this film and how much I enjoyed it on my first 2 viewings. About to be my 3rd too. Hopefully I can get it in IMAX. That's kind of embarrassing that I couldn't. But overall, I really am just in awe of what Denny is capable of. He is really one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. And I usually don't really hear a lot about him, but I really hope after this film, a lot more people learn about him and decide to check out some of his other work. Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of today's video. Thank you for watching. Again, thank you for all the love that I got on the last video. It's really amazing, and I couldn't be more appreciative of it. Overall, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like, comment, and if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because I'm like at an all-time low of like subscriber viewage. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Cut, man, for real.